Hi and welcome to Woodwork Journey. I'm Dean and today we're going to be building this puppy right here, this mallet, which I've just had a crack at, and this was something that I really had to figure out along the way. Let's roll the intro and get into it. So yeah, when it comes to this particular mallet, I'd made another style of mallet, which I was really happy with. I made this when I was kind of fairly sort of new to the whole thing, and it just made a mortise and tenon. So basically, this is just a tapered area going on here, a tapered hole there, and then pop that in, bosh, and then that is going to last you for ages. I have been wellying stuff on this for the last year and it's done a grand job. But I had seen a lot of people making these kind of laminated things, and I had a couple of nice bits of wood, so I thought, why the heck not have a go? So that's what I've done. I've learned a lot. I have seen videos on them, but I couldn't really remember anything. So this video, as always, will have a bunch of mistakes that I've made and that hopefully you can learn from, so you don't make those same mistakes. So it seems that people like this sort of content where there are mistakes involved, so I figured I'd keep it going. I was unsure because I've had a bunch of new subscribers. I was unsure about whether to upload this, but I think I will. It's not perfect, but it kind of looks kind of snazzy, doesn't it? Don't know why that's all dark there, but yeah. Right, let's get into it. Recently, I was lucky enough to get some offcuts of 18mm birch ply, which is lovely, and I'm hoping to make, I think I'm going to go with a new cabinet for my table saw and also make that into a router station as well. So if you're interested in that, please do let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, what got me thinking was on this piece of ply, we've got a bit of maple that was attached to it. I don't know if this was a shelf or whatever it was, but that got me thinking, and so I cut that piece off, and it's this lovely looking bit of maple. I hand planed it, so it's gorgeously smooth. It really is fabulous. But I've also got another bit of not quite so lovely maple and walnut, and so I want to make a mallet. Now, not only do I want to make a mallet, but I want to make a mallet with hand tools only, with the exception of a drill, because I haven't got one of them drills. First things first, I'm going to have to decide whether I want this on the outside or the inside, and so this kind of, I think this would look nice because it'll be a centerpiece, will be the lighter maple, and then we'll have the walnut around the outside of it, and we'll also put the walnut in a pin at the top there, or a wedge. I think that probably would be a good idea. Now, another thing that we want to do, make sure that we're using the end grain, not the side grain or anything like that. And because these are offcuts, then you know, you just got to double check on that one. So I'm going to be using the end grain, and the same with this walnut. Right, let's get into trying to figure something out completely at random, as always. Normally I'd use a pencil for this, but I can't find it, so I've got to use a pen. Get an apron, Dean, then you'll always know where things are. Maybe not. Right, so if that was the height of my previous mallet, I think I want to make it just a wee bit bigger, so we'll go that kind of height, and lengthwise we'll go a little bit wider. So I know you can't see it, but I think I'm going to go around about there. So let me just check to see if this has got a straight side. Yeah, that looks dead straight to me. So that is going to be my reference side. So using the reference side for my square, I'm going to go up like that. Are we square there? Yes, we are. Okay, I don't know whether it's going to come up on camera, but that is the size. Where are we? That bit there is the size that we're going to go for. So I'm going to cut down this hand style. Ooh. Just realised I haven't got to be too precise about this because I'll do the final shaping once everything's together. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is kind of get this in there, leave a little bit over the edge there, And then I'm going to pop that line there. Yep, that feels pretty much the same. So now I'm going to try and cut maple by hand down that line. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Right, let's try this big bad boy. Nope. I think this wood is just this hard. Right, well, okay, I'm going to fail already. Now, it's only because I didn't expect this maple to be as hard as it is. So I am going to use the bandsaw just to cut this because, you know, I'm a broken human being. But, you know, you can use whatever you want. I'm trying to use bloody hand tools, at least. So, you know, it's a thought that counts. Right, so what we've got so far is some maple, some walnut, a little bit of maple left, bit of walnut over there still. That's a bit that I cut by hand. And yeah, then I tried cutting this maple and it was possibly the hardest thing on earth. So I had to use the bandsaw. And I realised that this is supposed to be just a quick video about whether I can do it or not. So I will do some finishing with the hand plane and what have you. But yeah, these are some scraps that I had. So this is what I'll be using. So in preparation for doing this, I did just check to make sure that I had a straight edge on the wood, and I did. So when I've been cutting things up, that's what I've been using. But my idea is to use walnut, and then we'll use maple, and then we'll use a bit of walnut again, and then we will use a maple handle, I think, going through with a walnut wedge in the end there. I think that's the plan. I did wonder whether I should laminate up the handle as well, just to be extra flash. I might do. We'll come to that in a bit. But yeah, let me just try and cut at least 3 of these. I think the walnut on the outside will look nice, maybe. Or should I do that? Oh, it's so difficult. I think walnut on the outside. Okay, I do think this was a bit too chunky for a mallet, so I am going to resaw these just to cut them down a little bit. Now, once again, I'm not using any specific sizes. I'm just making up as I go along. Okay, I've got some ridiculously thin laminations off that, which is awesome. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I've got the kind of that one, that one, that one, that one. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plane the edges so I can joint them so they all sit really flush with one another. I think we're pretty much there on that one. We'll see. Let's get some of this going now. I'm not done yet, but what I'm doing is as I'm going along, I'm sticking my plane on the side there and looking for any spots that just need a little bit of extra attention before I can even think that it might be straight, you know. Right, I'm sweating now, but I think for the purposes of what we're doing, once that's clamped together, that should be fine and dandy. So now I've got to start working on the handle, and since I've thought about the laminating these, I'm really into it, so I think I'm going to have to do it. Okay, so I'm going to cut it on the bandsaw again, but I've marked out how thick the 6mm is that I want to cut off this, so 3 of these should, in theory, equate to the thickness of that, which goes in the middle. So these have come off the bandsaw. They're pretty much what we want. They're a little bit thicker than, like 3 of these together is a little bit thicker than the maple, but that's okay. So what we need to do is I need to laminate these together. So I'll get them some glue in there and get them all stuck in. Then we're going to have the outside. Then we're going to have this. So I need to cut in here. In here I'm going to need to cut these out so this fits in. But once this has been laminated, I need to get a tapered edge on this so it sits at least at the top section, so it sits a little bit of a V. That way when I put a wedge in the top, it'll stick in there and won't come out forever. So yeah, we need to laminate these. Once they're laminated, cut a taper. Once we've cut a taper, then we can pop it on there, give ourselves an outline, separate these, throw the bit out from the middle, stick that down, stick that down, stick that in the middle, bosh that on top, shape the mallet, mallet sorted. Now, with the benefits of YouTube magic, you'll see the next stage nice and quickly, but I've just realised this is going to take me 3 days to do, because I've got to wait for this to dry, then I can plane it down, taper it, then I can see what I'm going to cut off the head part of it, and then we need to glue those up as well. So it's taking longer than expected, but we will get there. Right, one thing I am going to have to do is just take this down a little bit more, so the walnut is going to be thinner than the maple, but I need this to be the same thickness as this. So I'm just going to hand plane this down a little bit more on both sides and see how we're looking. Alrighty, so that's pretty flush. Could do just a touch better, but I think we can get away with that. So I'm alright with that so far. Right, so now we're going to get into the bit where I really am making things up as I go along. 7.4 is the middle. Draw a line there like that. What I'm going to do actually is find the center line in here, mark it against there, and then I can mark thickness lines either side of that. Ha-ha! Okay, so I put just a little dot under there. So if I put that on the center line like so, and we've got bosh and bosh. So that's going to be where it would go if it was dead straight. But I'm not going to do it dead straight, because I'm going to cut a wedge out of this, which is going to help us when we wedge things together. But what I can do is, if I say that that's going to be the top, that's going to be the bottom, and I don't want to go too thin in here. Where are my glasses? Here we go. Like that. So it's just a couple of millimeters in. Alright, so what we've got there is a slight wedge shape, which I'm going to cut out on the bandsaw. Well, made a bit of a pig's ear of that, but let's see if I can tidy that up quickly. Okay, now right in this corner it's not overly straight, so let's just get a chisel out and sort that out. Okay, now I am significantly thinner than I was, so I think I've probably taken off a bit too much. But, you know, these things happen. Don't know why I'm drawing it all on this one, because I need to do it in this one. You idiot. Right, so that's that. We'll cut those out on the bandsaw. And then, again, not the straightest cuts I've ever done, but it doesn't really have to be. There. And there. That's going to be like that. Push that right up to the thing there. So that's going to be like that, and then the other one's going to sandwich on top of it. But I need to cut a slice down here, ready for the wedge to go in. Right, so that's brilliantly off centre, but that will go in there. That will go in there. That goes right up to there. Now, do I put little nails in just so I can get it together? I don't really want to, but yeah, so they'll go stuck on there like that. Then this one gets stuck on the top, and then I can drive those in when everything, they'll drive the wedge in once everything is dry. So let's get some glue on this puppy and get it clamped up, I suppose. Right up to the edges. I think I am going to need to put a couple of brads in there just to hold it together. Squeeze those in together like so. I've gone off shape a little bit, but never mind, we can sort that out later. Right, what I'm going to do now is you might be able to see just at that, we're not quite straight on those shoulders. So I'm just going to hoof that out, tidy up these shoulders a little bit. I think that's a little bit tidier. Right, I think those might be a bit better. Yeah, that's going to go in there. Lovely. Good-o. Right. Now, do you glue this bit on? Or will a wedge be enough? A little bit of glue's not going to hurt, is it? Seeing as this is going to be quite heavy and I'm going to be flinging it around all over the place, I imagine it's better to have a bit too much glue than not enough. As you know, making up as we're going along. Right, so pop that in there, snug that up like a good one, and then right, so that goes on there. And that goes on there like so. So what I'm going to do is I'll clamp that up and then we'll come back to it when it's dry. Right, so we are back and this has been settling up for a good 24 hours now, so it's time to take it apart. One thing that I did realise overnight was I'm a moron, and that's mainly because why did I put glue on the handle on the inside? That's what the wedge is going to do. I didn't need to do that at all. So if you were like many people I imagine and swearing about it while I was doing it, I'm joining in. Right, let's take a bunch of... I really went hell for leather. I mean, I went hard on clamps. Okay, let's take these off. And there we go. That is what we're looking at so far. I don't know if it's going to focus, that's the word, but yeah, very, very blocky. There's a lot of work to do, so let's get on to tidying this up, shall we? Right, so we have got one sort of major cock up that happened in the gluing, and that is under here, and this piece did not sit remotely straight, so that is that's kind of horribly on the squiff. So we've got to try and sort that out. We've also got to shape the sides, scrape off the glue, do bits and bobs. I don't think we're going to scrape glue because I'm just going to start cutting angles and stuff and straightening everything up as much as I can. I think that's the plan. I've got no idea how to do it quite yet though. The problem I've got here is that I don't have a particularly straight edge anywhere. So I think I'm going to have to use some squares to make sure that I can square up to the handle. I think that's probably the most sensible idea, seeing as that glue up went all kinds of awry and not remotely straight. So yeah, if I do that and I can get a line from here, I can use that for my straight line to worry about everything else, and we can take it from there. So the way I'm going to do this is use a bit of plywood here that I've got that is dead straight. I'm going to put that up against the handle like so, and then that's going to give me a flat surface to be able to go like that, to be able to measure out a dead straight line that's directly perpendicular, is that the word I want, from the handle. Yeah, that was pretty off. So let's get, I think I'll throw this on the bandsaw and get this cut down. Okay, so what I've done there is I have marked out the areas that need to square this up. So I need to cut those off there and there. That will give me a right angle there. After doing that, I'll work out the taper that I'm going to go with on the back there. And also, before I do that, once I've got this corner at 90 degrees, then I can then get this top at 90 degrees as well. Right, so we're getting some progress going on right about here. We've pretty much squared that up. I've checked that they're pretty close to being the same size either side of the handle, so weight distribution should be fine. So now it's just going to be a case of figuring out what angle to go at. And I mean, it doesn't need to be a sort of an extreme angle, but I think just completely at random, going on nothing but thoughts and dreams, I'm going at that. There we go. Come back when I've cut those bits. Right, remember a few days ago, well, earlier in the video, where I put the brad nails in and I was like, yeah, that'll be all right. Some fucking idiot put brad nails in this, look, and I got it on the bandsaw and wrecked it. Oh well, let's see if we can tidy it up. Oh, that's the nail out, but we're going to have to sand that down. Oh, let me see how I get on with this. I'm also going to cut this down just while I'm over in that general area. I did just have a thought that rather than trying to sand all this, because especially the walnut that will burn really easily, wonder if I can plane it. I'm trying to only go kind of halfway through it so I don't blow out the other end too badly. Oh no! I'm gutted that I've broken it out there, but I'm going to glue it back together and hopefully we can pretend it never happened. Right, so I've glued that up, good as new. You never know that happened. But we are still looking a fair old mess. So excuse the hands, I've just been sharpening the blades and just tidying up a couple more planes. Anyway, that looks like a cut there, but that's just the pen line that I did a little while ago. So I guess we're going to start shaping it and figuring out if we can make it look not horrific, I suppose. So yeah, let's I'm going to start work on this handle. I'm not entirely sure if the handle's too long anyway. Do I need it to be kind of like that, or I think I might go a little bit shorter. But let's see about getting that a little bit more comfortable rather than the harsh edges. And for that, I'm either going to use a spoke shave that I've just sorted out, or this block plane. So yeah, let's see how we get on. Alrighty, let's have a crack with the spoke shave first off. Real little slices is what we want. 3, 4, 5. Right. Yeah, that's working out quite nicely. Would this have been easier on a router table? Oh, of course it would. But, you know, I like to try and use hand tools when I can. And I have got just a little bit more control. By going down the shaft, misses, what's happening is that's giving me the initial kind of angle, and then I can just chip away at the lower stuff that the nose won't let me get to. Okay, that is rounded off just a touch, but that's actually really quite comfortable. Sorry about the dubious camera angle and the fact that my apron is now glowing. But yeah, I'm just going to try and take the corners off these with a chisel. Hopefully this is sharp enough. I did cut a little bit deep down there with the bandsaw when I was tidying up, so it looks really quite bad. We'll pretend it's a feature. Chiseling is really hard when you've got slightly dodgy hands, by the way. Put that wedge on the old belt sander just to kind of get an idea about that. Like I said a little while ago, this means that I didn't need to put glue on the inside of the handle. Should have put the handle on afterwards, but we live and learn. Okay, that's that in there. Now we better cut that bugger off. So that's like that. Now I've just got to sort out these and these. Actually, on the top here, I'm going to see if I can make this go proper flush. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep pairing and pairing and pairing until I can get kind of to a line where I might be able to chisel it through. So that's what I'm going to do. I won't bore you with that. Let's see how we get on. I forgot I had this little 92. So because the blade goes all the way out to the sides, I just had a crack on this side and it's done a marvellous job. So let's have a go with this. A little bit of tidying up to do just around the base of that top there. Right, I'll keep at it. Okay, now to do the sides. Actually, what I'll do is I'll take that to a cheeky kind of 45. I've got to get my pressure sorted out on this because it's difficult to balance it and get an even cut. Now, I don't think any of us thought it was going to start looking reasonably tidy. But there you go. It's reasonably tidy up the top there now. So I've now got to turn these 45s all on the sides and job is almost a good one. These bottom bits look rubbish. I'm going to chop them off. Okay, so as well as tidying the top up over there, I also tidied the bottom up. Now, once again, I went a bit heavy on the bandsaw under there, but I'm going in there and I've just tidied up those ledges because I didn't like the look of them. And it means that I've got a nice solid purchase there where it's a little bit flatter, which might help when guiding stuff. So what I'm going to do is just give it a bit of a sand and then I will join you with the finishing process. Alrighty, I'm going to finish it off. I didn't know whether to use wax or linseed oil, but I may as well use linseed oil because I don't know what I'm doing. So why not? If I can get into the buggy thing, that is. Right, here we go. Here we go. The reason I didn't really want to use linseed is because I know it's going to yellow the maple, which will suck a little bit, but never mind. These things happen. Oh, look at that walnut though. Look at it. Transformation. Dun-dun-dun. I still think I might take the length of the handle down a little bit, but I'm going to use it for a couple of days first. That's why I've not rounded it off or anything like that. Oh, and there's another problem. I'm going to go back to the idea of saying don't use brad nails because yeah, we're going to ignore that and pretend it isn't there though, because I find that that's a way of dealing with all of life's problems. Just pretend they don't exist. So there we have it. That is the maple and walnut mallet that I'll be using for a while to come, hopefully. Again, I cocked up there, but it's far from perfect. But it was a journey, it was an experience. Making this, whilst I think more grunt work to cut the mortise and tenon situation is easier than making this, but we'll see how it holds up over the time. Let me know what you think of it. So that was that. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Dean. This has been Woodwork Journey, and this is a mallet that from a distance looks really quite nice, and it's not too bad at all. So I'm going to give this a couple more coats of linseed oil and hopefully I'll be using this for a fair while. I did want it to be a video that was just hand tools, but cutting this maple was the hardest thing in the world, so just that wasn't going to happen. So I did have to cheat a couple of times, but I still tried to use hand tools when I could, and the block plane is possibly one of my most favourite things, and the little shoulder plane, this number 92 is also a little cracker. So yeah, those have really helped me. I don't think this is too horrific. It's not perfect. Dogs are going nuts outside, but I hope you appreciated and enjoyed it. Nick, I said throw us a like if you did. I'm knackered. I'm going in for dinner. See you later. Bye bye.